Hello, welcome back to the channel. I'm T4, and of course today we are starting phase 3 of my fortress build. As you can see behind me here, we've got a little bit of work to do. I want to turn this area into a bit of a city area, and I'm also going to try and turn this area into my new storage area and try to make it look like it actually unloads the boats. We'll see how it goes. I'm hoping for a miracle here because I'm not typically that good at this kind of building thing. So let's get into it. So as a reminder, I don't just like face cam, I actually stream these builds. If you check out the description, you'll find the link to my Twitch. While you're down there, feel free to hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know you're enjoying the content, or if you're not, let me know in the comments and maybe I can fix it so that you enjoy it better. Now the first thing I'm going to do here, as you saw, I outlined what is going to be the foundation of the store. Right now I'm just setting up to build the basement. What I'm gonna do is I mine it all out so that there's a nice solid basement, and then I have it kind of looking like a storage room. I haven't done any signs or anything yet, which you'll see later, because it took me a lot longer to get this build done than I thought it would. This video may only be a little over a half an hour, but it was a solid 4-hour stream to get done the progress I did in this video. So as we can see, I got it all nicely dug out. I'll say nicely, it wasn't exactly perfect, but nothing ever is in this game. And then I go ahead and I throw a proper wall on the backside here that is to the river, because it is going to be, aesthetically at least, how we put things into the storage room down here. And then I just kind of shore up the walls so that it looks a little dungeony, but it at least looks finished. Like, finished was the look I was going for. It definitely took a little bit longer than I wanted to, just because the ground wasn't really behaving. It's my first time trying to build something like this, so I wasn't sure exactly how close I could get the ground to doing what I wanted it to. It would be nice to see some thicker walls or other options for stuff like this in the game, but we'll see what happens as time goes on. So if you've seen any of my other builds, or as I'm sure you noticed with the walls that I've done down here, I do have this thing with lines. I try to cut up straight lines as much as I can. Mind you, you can only do so much before it just becomes a complete mess, but I typically run what I call a half-lap running bond, and that's what I've done to the walls, and that's what you can see me doing to the floor here. And here I'm just trying to get the ground to cooperate a little bit more, to get it a little bit closer to the walls, which I actually got really frustrated with, but I was trying to hide during the stream, just because anytime I tried to get it close to the walls at the top, it came through in the bottom of the basement. Now, one of the main reasons I was putting this floor on before really being done the basement, I'm done the skeleton of the basement, but I wanted to decorate the basement before I really moved on. But the reason I'm putting the first floor on before I do the decoration It's just to give me a better idea of kind of the spacing I was working with. And then, of course, being one of the ADHD people of the world, I got a little distracted and jumped around a little bit with my building. But all in all, we stayed on track today. Mostly. So here you can see I'm using the arches I established on the towers. It's kind of like the, you know what, this is the style for the city, so I'm just going to keep with it. And then because this is supposed to be a store, I decided small windows over large windows because you don't want people breaking in and stealing your stuff, which is the same reason why there's iron gates as well as wooden doors. You got the wooden doors, so it's like, oh, a nice aesthetic, but then the iron gates so that theoretically at nighttime you can close up and actually lock up and know that you're safe. I eventually do the same thing in the basement. Oh man, that face cam went fuzzy a lot more than I thought it did today. And as you saw, I was just comparing storage room and, quite frankly, a size of chests, and I ended up deciding the reinforced chest because A, it was just a little bit smaller, which meant it would be a little bit easier to work with, and B, I really haven't used any planes or beyond material in this build so far, so it didn't feel right to start using the other chest with the black metal. Because I haven't really used any of that stuff yet in this build. I have used some like darker wood things, but I don't know, to me it just didn't feel right to use the bigger chest. And as you can see, I'm just being a little nitpicky with the chest, trying to really make them look good and even and somewhat uniform. Now what you're about to see is that I actually changed up the style of chest that I used because the reinforced chest doesn't quite match up with the 1x1 posts. So I ended up putting on the different posts and then going with the smaller chest on top that I knew would fit. And I don't know, to me anyways, it gives that aesthetic of what I was going for, where it's like the important things or the more common things lower down so that you can get to them nice and easy. And then you get the longer term storage things up and out of the way, with the less fancy storage. And just some scaffolding so I can actually do the building. I don't know, personally I'm pleased with the way it came out, especially given this is the first time I've tried to do like a basement storage area. Now here, I decided to turn the spigot around to the back so that it looked like it was just storage barrels as opposed to the fermenter that it actually is. And then just putting the tables in and hiding them under the stairs. And what you saw there very quickly was me just double checking I could reach the top chest, because somebody in chat was asking if I could actually reach it or not, if I decided it was going to be a functional storage room. Now, although I do end up removing most of this wood I'm putting down right now, I did put it all down purely for the sake of like visualizing what I was trying to do, but as you can see, I'm removing it because it doesn't all need to be there. I also find it helps to put things down for snap points. Even if you do plan on removing them eventually, the snap points are always nice to have. Yes, at this point it caught my eye the way I had stacked the posts, so I was just fixing that. And now for the most part, for these like middle of the floor shelving units, I did my best to copy what I did against the wall. I think it turned out okay, but we'll see what happens when I start putting up signs and potentially actually putting things in for storage. But like I've said in other videos, if you want to leave something in the comments to give me your opinion on what I could have, should have done better, or some other decoration ideas, go ahead, or you can check out the video description and swing by Twitch Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday while I'm doing these builds live and give me your input then. Because as I said at the beginning of this video, I don't typically do aesthetic builds like this, and it is newer to me, especially in this game. So every day is a learning process, and every comment, whether it be positive or negative, helps. Now, watching this edit in hindsight, I really think I should have done the full skeleton of the build before decorating like I've done here in the basement, but I got the build pretty much done in the one stream today, so overall I'm happy with it. Just something to keep in mind going forward. Maybe I'll do just the structure and then worry about the decorating. Now, for the most part, with the beginning of the video, I do have the speed set to ×10 time-lapse. But we have moved down to ×5 time-lapse as we get more into the decorating. And of course, let me know in the comments or with your likes if you're enjoying the time-lapse builds that I'm doing, or if you would rather me do a commentary build of like specific elements and then show you the overall build. It would be nice to know. So there, I was just trying to decide how I wanted to do the upper floor. In my mind's eye, I'm seeing the old, or what's portrayed as the old medieval style in movies and stuff anyways, where you have like the stone first floor and then the upper floor is kind of like overhang onto the street or into the alleyways and things of that nature. So I'm just trying to mimic that a little bit here, but I didn't want to go too extreme with the overhang, mostly because I'm not sure what other buildings quite yet are going to be beside this one. One thing I did decide though was I wasn't going to do any overhang over the river, just because I didn't want to interfere with any boats or river build ideas I had later on down the road. And I really don't like altering builds after they're done, so I avoid it where I can. Now you're probably thinking, T4, why didn't you do the whole floor before you started doing the roof? And you would be correct, I really should have. I honestly fell off this build so many times today, it was starting to drive me a little up the wall, so to speak. Literally and figuratively a little bit, but I'm a weird guy and I do my builds in a weird order, what can I say? I'm sure if you pay real close attention, you'll probably notice that when I did the floor for the first floor, I actually staggered the floor to give it that half lap that I keep talking about, but then when I did the floor for this one, it's it's all the same. Just a little inconsistencies that keep builds interesting, you know? Alright, now in here we get to decorating the store area. I didn't intend on it becoming the furniture store that it basically becomes. I was intending for it to be more of like a general store, and I think I'm gonna revisit it later on down the road once I have a little bit more experience with building and things like that, so that I can redo the aesthetic inside. But as you'll see in just a moment, it comes out as more of a furniture store than a general store, so I'm really hoping to fix that. And there, I don't know if you caught it or not, I put in a personal chest. The intention of that is like that's where the money's going to be kept for the store, and then just some other chests for any general stock or whatever. See, and putting these in, the armor stands, was my first kind of like move to decorating the store. What I am planning on doing is, whether it be through Hilder or through my own crafting, getting a bunch of dresses or some of the other clothes and using them to kind of show off the fact that like the store sells clothes. And then I was going to do other items and things of that nature, but I ended up going with furniture. Again, I do plan on revisiting it in the future once I have a little bit more experience under my belt. Just a little bit of everything, really. I think personally, I think the reason I don't like the fact that it came out as a furniture store is because a craftsman would be the one selling things like that in my eyes, especially in this type of like village or city. I don't think a store would be handling the sale of furniture. I think it would be more likely you would go to a craftsman who specializes in furniture, and then they make the stuff kind of like on demand. So That's likely what I'll end up doing once I have an idea of how to. Now, originally where those raven thrones are, I was hoping I could get the skins to go down there, but as you can see in the center, I just put all the rugs there because I wasn't sure what else to put there for now. But I wanted it to feel somewhat done before I moved on to the living area. And of course, me being me, I didn't fully plan out how I was going to support the roof. I debated running stone pillars from the basement all the way up. I debated running iron from the basement all the way up. But eventually I settled on running iron beams off of just the stone up to the roof, which you will see here in just a moment. And then I hide them inside of the core pillars. Which still worked out pretty good because off of the iron posts, the wood is grounded. So it's that blue color instead of green or a worse color. And as you can see while I'm looking up at the center, there is quite a bit of red up there, which is what made me, or helped me make the decision to use the iron posts instead. Now, just like my last video, I typically don't like to do building at night for a number of reasons. I find the audience doesn't quite get the best view. I sometimes have trouble seeing, not being willing to admit my age and actually wear my glasses. But again, between end of stream and wanting to just get the build done, I ended up building into the night just to avoid the like 30 seconds it would take to go to bed. I really should start planning better. And here I'm just throwing on a little bit of over-the-water balcony. For a number of reasons in my eyes, the trader or family that runs this facility would likely want to keep an eye on materials as they come and go from the storeroom, as well as have a nice place to just relax and get some air that isn't going to be intruded upon by the bustling village or city or whatever category we want to put this build in. Ooh, the concentration on Stream 24's face there. He looks really zoned into the build. If you ever want to feel self-conscious, watch yourself back in 5 or 10 times speed, and you'll notice a lot of like little things that you do that you're unaware of. Just a message from the wife. I'm surprised I left that in the video. Oops. Oh, and I decided, I don't know if you caught it there, I put the lesser quality wooden chairs outside. I figured who would want to spend money on good, decent chairs and then just leave them outside. Now here, I'm doing my best to replicate cabinets. Again, it's nothing I've ever done in this game before, so I wasn't really sure how to go about it. It's not exactly like there's wardrobes in this game. So I was really just kind of problem solving on the spot to try and get the look I was going for this living space. And here I'm just trying to break up the living space. I didn't think, again, in my eyes, a trader isn't going to have one large living space where the whole family is constantly in contact with each other. They're going to want private space for themselves and their family to enjoy life and get a break from each other every once in a while. So I'm just breaking the room up into some smaller rooms that can be turned into bedrooms. Now I realize I probably could have added another, like a total of 4 bedrooms here, but I went with 1 large master and then 2 smaller bedrooms. And you'll see my wardrobe design pop up a couple of more times. And that's just because, I don't know, to me it looks really pleasing to the eye. It's really easy to tell what it's meant to be. And for the most part, this build is aesthetic, so it's okay if things aren't necessarily functional. Again, with the personal chest hidden away in a closet in the master bedroom. Because where else would you keep money, right? Now this design that you're about to see is intended to be kind of a couch. I saw it on a thumbnail on YouTube and I'm just doing my best to replicate it from that. I didn't actually watch the explanation of how to build it. I should probably do that. And then here I'm just playing with a little bit of a design of how I wanted the lights to be done. I didn't want to put a fireplace on the 2nd floor. It didn't feel right to me. I know I probably could have gotten away with it, but I figured these hanging braziers were the next best thing because they count as a fire for when you're trying to sleep, which I test in just a moment. And then some carpets for aesthetics. And to me, this build really kind of came together. I like it. Of course, I'm also new at interior design in Valheim. Again, with the lights and the wardrobes. Probably could have cut a lot of this out. Let me know in the comments if I left too much of the building in, or if you're okay with it. If you even made it this far into the video. And of course, one last pitch. If you want to give me your input live, feel free to check the description for my Twitch link where I stream Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays while I'm working on these builds. And you can be a part of the conversation, input, and building ideas live. Now I'm just going to let you enjoy the last couple of minutes of this building undisturbed, and then we'll let Stream T4 wrap it up for us. Well, thank you for hanging out this long. I hope you've enjoyed the time lapse you've just watched. So this is going to be the trader's storehouse type building. It's the only one that's really going to be this big. I think the rest of them are going to be a fair bit smaller. Maybe a herbalist or something. I don't know. I'm going to have to figure it out. I also need to figure out how to do interior design in Valheim because I've never put thought into it before. So let me know down in the comments how you think I did, what I could do better, some other things I could maybe try. I'm looking forward to getting better at building in this game. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And while you're down there, there's a link for the Steam page if you haven't checked out this game yet. It is in early access, and there is an update coming sometime before summer, we're told. So that's exciting. That's kind of why I'm just building in this game for now. I've already run through it a couple of times. So now I'm just building and having fun. And as a reminder, this is a test build. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to keep it, but considering it took me as long as it did, I probably am. So that's it for today. I'll see you later.